my name is Danny from Danny's Book Corner, and today I'm going to bring you another review, and the book that I'll be reviewing for you guys today is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, and I am so excited to be showing you guys this book because, you know, if you watched my July uppercase unboxing, this was the book that was in the box. I read this book while I was on vacation. Because I was on a 3-hour flight, and I read about half of it. And then I read some of it while I was on vacation, and then on the return flight, I didn't read it because it was a really late flight, so I was really tired, so I just slept on the plane. But when I came back from vacation, I finished this book, and I just finished it 2 days ago, because I meant to film this video sooner, but that didn't work out because there's things going on, and that's why I'm filming this right now. But this book was just so fabulous. It was just amazing, and I've never read anything by Victoria Schwab, and this was just blew my mind in the best way possible, of course, because a book hasn't really done that for me in quite a long time. So this was just such a really good surprise for me, and I'm really gonna look forward to reading more from Victoria Schwab, I hope. And also, I need the sequel to this book like yesterday. And I know that this book is in a series because I checked on Goodreads and said this book is #1 in the Monsters of Verity series, and I'm just like, okay, we're gonna get a sequel, but I want the sequel like now. So I guess I should probably tell you guys what this book is about because obviously I loved it. So basically this book takes place in a city called Verity, or in the book they usually refer to it as just V City, and this is among many other cities and territories after the former US. And I've noticed that many dystopians take place in the former US. Like, are we trying to say something here about the US? Anyway, the city is divided into north and south and is separated by the seam. And the first thing I thought when I saw seam was where Katniss lives in the Hunger Games. But this is very different from where Katniss lives in the Hunger Games because the seam in this book is literally a dead zone. There is nothing that exists in the seam. And it's just really the divider between north and south. The north is headed by the Harker family, and the south is headed by the Flynn family, which both have very different ways of governing things, and they live in peace because of this truce that was signed between them about like 60 years ago or something. I don't remember the exact figure, but it was many years ago. But of course, as many peace things, they don't always last, and in this book they are starting to collapse. And now we enter our two main characters. Our first main character is Kate, who is the daughter of the ruthless Harker, and Harker has sent her to many boarding schools after the unfortunate death of her mother because he just doesn't seem that she's fit to live in the city. And so what she tries to do is just use malicious tactics, either trying to burn down something or trying to hurt another classmate in order to get out of the school. But Harker keeps sending her to boarding school after boarding school, and finally he decides to bring her back to V City, where she hopes that she will prove herself worthy of being a Harker. And our second main character is August, who is the son of Mr. Flynn, but I say that in air quotes because he isn't biologically related, and he really wouldn't be ever, because August is a monster. And here is where we enter like the fantastical elements of this book. It is kind of a dystopia, but it has fantastical elements that Victoria Schwab, I'm pretty sure, is known for. So August is a Sunai. I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not saying that right, let me know in the comments, because there's a lot of things that are not really easy to pronounce in this book, but that's how I pronounce it. So August is a Sunai, one of 3 that Flynn has in his home, and has incorporated them into his family with his wife. He uses these Sunai to protect, defend, and to get rid of sinners in South City. Now before I go on, I want to explain that there are 3 different types of monsters in this world. There are Korsai, Malkai, and Sunai. They are each created from different types of human sins, because the concept of this book is that whenever someone commits a sin, either more like a crime of some sort that involves some other human, like getting hurt or something, when someone commits one of these sins, is that they have all this darkness of shadows around them. And of course, from August's perspective, we see that they have all these shapes to them that no normal shadow would have. So from this darkness, this is where the monsters are created from. Of course, I come from small crimes like that wouldn't end in someone being fatally wounded, but probably wounded nonetheless, and they only feed on human flesh and bones. So these are kind of the monsters that you would think of if you were to think of monsters like hiding under the bed or something when you were a kid. Malachi are formed from single murders, and they drink human blood, kind of like a vampire, but they're not vampires. They can go out in the sunlight, but they have kind of a human form, but they're not human. They're very much monsters. Sunai are the rarest monsters because they are only created from like mass casualties, and they actually feed on human souls, but they can only be souls that are what they call red, because they actually look red, like before the Sunai is about to kill them. They're only red if they have committed some sins. You would never like hurt someone, you'll be completely fine. The way that the Sunai would kill you is by its song, hence the name of this book, This Savage Song. Because August uses his violin, that's why there's a picture of a violin on the cover of this book, to have his song, and it like encapsulates you, and you're like frozen in time, and then your soul just kind of exits you, and then he takes it. And you would have to read the descriptions. The descriptions are great. I can't do this book justice with trying to say the descriptions with my own words. So Flynn keeps the monsters in South City at bay by using his Sunai to get rid of the sinners by taking their souls. So when you take their soul, obviously there's just a body left, so therefore the person is not there anymore. By getting rid of the sinners, he is creating less monsters, and therefore there are less monsters in South City. And also the Korsai and Malachi and Sunai just really don't like each other anyway. Whereas in contrast, Harker's way of keeping the monsters at bay is by people paying him, because he will give them a medallion that is made out of silver or some sort of precious metal, and supposedly by wearing that it wards off the monsters, because the monsters don't like metals. This doesn't really do much because the monsters like to come out at night, and even the people that are wearing these medallions will go in before nightfall. Throughout this story, August wishes that he was more human, and in contrast, Kate actually kind of wants to be, in a way, a monster, or like her ruthless father, and forget her past while their city's foundation is threatening to crumble. So that's like the gist of what this book is about, without giving too much away and just giving you just enough information. And now on to more of what I thought of this book. I said in the beginning, I absolutely love this book so much. It's a really unique dystopian because of its fantastical elements. It's not like the Hunger Games or Divergent, where you have some sort of malicious, like, dictator-like figure. We don't really have that. But honestly, the thing that really made this story what it is the characters, as is many stories, because August is really a very unique character because he is a monster and he wishes to become human. He really can't be more human than he is, because, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Sunai do look human, except for their eyes. If you try to take a picture of a Sunai and you like have a flash or something, like you would see that their eyes are just completely black. The story is also told from alternating points of view in the third person limited point of view from each character. It's not just like one chapter is told from Kate's perspective and then one chapter is told from August's perspective. They flip-flop in the chapters, and it actually works together because obviously their stories intertwine. Two perspectives just flow very nicely, from going from Kate's thoughts to August, and it just flows very nicely, and I really appreciated the writing in this book. The writing was just so fantastic. Victoria Schwab really has a talent for creating new worlds and for having characters in those worlds, and it's just so fantastic, and I would really highly recommend this book to anyone. The only downside to this book that I have at all is that it is slightly confusing in the beginning, getting used to the new language and stuff, because this is a dystopian, so there's a bunch of new words and a totally new world that you have to get used to, because you're kind of thrown into this world. There's not really a clear explanation of everything, except when you go to new areas, of course, there's explanations and descriptions and such, so you know what's going on, but it's not like just a bucket load of paragraphs describing everything, which I actually appreciate. Also, the other thing I want to mention before I wrap this up is that there is no romance in the story at all, as opposed to most dystopians that I read, where there's a love triangle or there's some sort of romance. There is no romance whatsoever. So if doesn't float your boat, this book is for you. So that's really all I can say without spoiling anything or not saying too much about this novel before you go and read it. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you really like these reviews that I'm posting for you guys, because I really enjoy making them, especially when I read a book that I like, and I like sharing my thoughts with you guys and everything. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below if you read this book or you're planning to read this. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I just guess I'll just see you guys all later. Bye!